Good morning, y'all. Today is March 23rd. I checked on the bees as far as where they're at. The last update I got was still Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's been over 12 hours ago. So I have no idea where the bees are at this point. Hopefully they'll be here tomorrow morning. Fingers crossed. I'm sure you guys have heard the saying that goes like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Very literally. I just did that. I put all my eggs in one basket, carried them up, dropped them. So I'm pretty sure I broke maybe 24 eggs. I don't know, they're all kind of leaking out. I usually just put them in the empty feed buckets, at least the eggs, and walk them up. Put them in cartons and then fill up the feed containers and run them back out. But that's a bit of a bummer, so hopefully I didn't ruin all of them. I'm about to count them. Well, I broke 14 eggs. I saved almost a dozen, so oh well. We'll go ahead and toss them out here in the garden beds. It'll be good compost. Still no word on the bees. At this point, I'm expecting they'll be here on Monday. I think old Blacktail over there learned his lesson. He hasn't attacked me. He stays far away from me now. So hopefully he'll be good, stay good, not fall back into any old habits that he was picking up. But yeah, so far he's been really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them some more food. Sometimes it's better to show an animal who's actually on top and where they stand in the flock or herd. Because if an animal doesn't understand that whole relationship, then they're going to end up in the freezer. So he's a cool bird. I like him, but he was just starting to get an attitude. So far he's straightened up, which is really good. It's been kind of breezy, cold, and just not that fun to do many outdoor projects. The sun is very deceiving right now. It's not that warm at all. So that chicken coop, I haven't really done much more work on other than put, I think, a 10-foot strip of hardware cloth on the bottom. So I still need to do some work on that. In a little over 2 weeks, I'm gonna have my first batch of meat birds coming, but by then that coop will be done. And I'll even have another batch of chickens out on pasture by that point. So I'm already set up for them, which is nice, but hopefully it warms up here in a little while, so I actually feel a little more motivated to work on that. But when your hands are already cold and then you're trying to bend this wire and it's catching everything, and yeah, it's just not much fun. So since it's not anything under pressure at the moment, I'm not going to worry about it. Got a nice pile of wood starting to stack up here. It's always handy just having wood laying around. I've also got some limb wood, some random branches, smaller pieces, larger pieces, things that we can just burn, things that we can potentially turn into some fun projects as well. So the other day, my dad surprised me with a super nice gift of a stainless steel table. This thing is going to come in handy for so many things and different projects. So thank you so much, Dad. I still have a few more frames to put together. This is the last hive that I bought. I put the boxes together but didn't get around to doing the frames because I don't really need all these frames at the moment, because the bees have to get all these worked out, and I already have plenty of resources for them to get started. So these will come into play a little later, but I just kind of want to get them out of the way and out of the box. So we'll start piecing these together. Howdy y'all, today is March 24th. I was looking at the beehives the other day since the bees will be coming tomorrow, and I think I'm going to have enough resources that I can actually fill up these hives mostly with all drawn out comb. There's some nice resources still in here. There's still a little bit of pollen, bee bread as it's called. So I think it'll also give them a little bit more insulation too, because the wind out here isn't very fun. So having all this drawn out will give them a little bit of extra protection, because for the first few weeks their population is going to decline and they're going to need all the heat in here that they can get. So it takes a little while for the queen to get going, laying, everything hatching, and getting big enough that they can actually help out in the hive a little bit. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and throw in some more drawn out frames. I think I'll be fine even splitting my other colonies, if I'm able to even split one of my colonies. They were already kind of small, but I haven't been in yet this year. Maybe you can see in there, there's some nice little packs of pollen still in, which is great. So they will definitely eat that up. This one's completely blank, but it's just beautiful comb. That'll give these two colonies an even bigger head start, which is really nice. So that way they don't have a bunch of foundation that they have to draw out. So hopefully that'll help them out, and they'll do pretty good. They've been in the mail for 4 days now. They do pack them with some feed, so that's good. They're probably sitting in a warehouse somewhere. I don't know what state they're in, if they're even in Indiana yet. The tracking info is pretty scarce on that, so hopefully they'll be here Monday. That's kind of what they're predicting, sometime by 9 p.m. Hopefully the post office calls me in the morning and says they're here, but we'll just have to wait and see. So upstairs I have wax melting, and I do plan on rolling some frames just to make sure everything's waxed up really good to help the bees out. That way they just pop out some wax really quick and get the foundation built up. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on at the moment, is just for that to melt. The wax is just about melted in there. I got the roller hanging out so it kind of loosens up a little bit. But what I would like to do is these frames over here, take these. It looks like these were getting drawn out just fine, but I don't know how much is on there. It doesn't feel like a bunch, so I'm just going to put a little bit on some of these uglier frames, maybe pick off some of the larger pieces, melt that down, and then just make sure those are waxed good. And then I also want to do some that I'm not sure if I've waxed or not, but they just don't feel like they have a ton on there. So I'd like to get through 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, maybe about 10 of them. I only bought a pound of wax, so we'll see how far it goes. So my first year, I just popped these frames in without putting any extra wax on, and my bees were making some really funky looking comb. So I just don't trust the companies I get them from to put enough wax on anymore. So I just roll it on real quick and simple, help the bees get a good jump start so they don't make anything crazy. It doesn't have to be on there super thick, but you definitely want a nice little coat on there. All 10 frames are nice and waxed. I feel really good about that, and I still have plenty of wax left. Howdy, yeah, today is March 25th, so a little update on the bees. So they did in fact ship Thursday. I was getting some really nice tracking updates. Originally it said the bees would be delivered Monday the 25th by 9 p.m. I was hoping they'd get here by Saturday. Didn't happen. So just going by that Monday date now. Last night, a little after midnight, about 12:20, I checked on the tracking. It hadn't updated, so went to bed and assumed that I would get a early morning phone call from the post office. So they generally call me around 5 in the morning, let me know that they're here and I can come pick them up. But I woke up just a little bit before 7 o'clock. The post office unfortunately did not wake me up. So I checked the tracking again. It wasn't updating. One was just blank, and the other one was saying in transit to the next facility. So I didn't really know what to believe, but it was still saying the delivery date would be today by 9 p.m. I called the post office, said, hey, had some bees, wondering if they're in the back room. If you could give me any info, that'd be great. And the lady said that she did in fact see them back there that morning, or this morning, but they were put on a truck, so they're out for delivery today. I said, perfect. So at least I had something to go off of. Not exactly what I wanted, but at least I had an idea where my bees were. So anyways, I got home, no bees on the front step, but I checked the mailbox and there was mail in there. So the mail had already come, but I didn't have any bees. So I don't know, at this point it's 5 o'clock. So I have to get the chickens done. It's already getting kind of late in the day. I have no idea where my bees are at this point. The tracking isn't updating. One still says out for delivery. One still says it's moving to another facility. And I don't know if the post office person really even knew. It's not like they looked it up. They just said they remember seeing bees in the back. It's nearly 70 degrees out, so it feels amazing. I'm not worried about the bees in that aspect. It's just a timing thing for them. I want them to get going because their population's gonna keep on dropping. Man, this grass looks really good. This is that green strip that I'm walking in. But and then also the food for the bees as well. They send them with a little can, so I don't want them to run out because bees can't go too terribly long without food. So I don't know. I'm just really hoping that they're gonna show up today. You know, I'm gonna have to look up and see how old these australorps actually are. I think they're maybe only a couple weeks behind the Marins, but they've been hanging out in the nesting boxes. There's one there and another one down here. So I'm thinking maybe they have started laying. Maybe those couple light ones in there are the australorps, because the dark ones are definitely the Marins. I'm gonna have to look that up. Went ahead and pulled that coop out a little bit so the roosters can scratch through this. We're gonna get a little storm blowing through later tonight. There's a little bit of grass under there. Hopefully something will come back. But this coop doesn't have a set of wheels on it, so it's not the easiest to pull around yet. These flowers smell so good. The bees are gonna love them. There's still a chance the bees could come today. It'll be dark, most likely, because if they do come, I will run back out here to get them completely set up for the night. That way I just have a full day tomorrow. I don't have to worry about them. So considering it may be dark and it may be rushed, who knows, I went ahead and I did pop on, well, I just whipped it up really quick. It's sugar and a couple splashes of water. Put it on the inner cover, put the lid on. I'll probably make up a couple little patties for them as well, but that way it's just one less thing I have to worry about, and it's literally just dumping in the bees. As much as I would love to hang out and knock out some more projects because it just feels so good out, I do need to go home and work in the office a little bit. Taxes tomorrow, so that's fun. Once that's finished though and out of the way, the whole week looks really good weather-wise. As far as temperature, there's some rainy days in there, but I should start getting some more projects knocked out and keep on moving forward. Hopefully I'll check back in yet today, letting you guys know on the bee situation. If not, hopefully I have some good news in the morning. Howdy y'all, today is March 26th, still no bees. It's currently 12:30. Supposedly they're out for delivery today. I'm actually driving around right now looking for the mailman, see if I can find him, so I'll keep you updated. I actually found him, so I'm gonna park and talk to him real quick, see if I can catch him, see if this is even the right mailman, but we're gonna try. Not the right truck, so let's keep driving. I found another mail truck. I'm gonna turn around, catch him. Hopefully this is the right one. That was the right mail truck. He actually recognized me, flagged me down and said, I have your bees. So there was a little snafu because I guess there's two mail trucks. There was someone following him today. So he said he had to keep the route, so he wasn't able to deliver them first thing. I don't know. Either way, at least I have my bees now. I'll show you a picture of them real quick. So they're still alive, but there are quite a few dead ones on the bottom, which is unfortunate. They have been in the mail for a long time. So I have 2 packages. Let's definitely go get them to the farm, pop them in the hive. I'm gonna apologize in advance because I only have 20 minutes to get these bees situated before I have to take off. So I'm not gonna be doing too much recording on the actual install, but I will be back out at the farm later today and I'll get some more video of these. There's some rain off in the distance, another reason I've got to book it. So far the queen's alive. I shook out one package. I went ahead and popped the plug so I can get that queen out of there. And I'm about to rip off the screen here. So that's our queen right there. She's on my finger here. Definitely want to make sure she stays in the hive. So, tiny little one. All right, and she is down there on the screen bottom board. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna keep on moving. This package looked a little stronger than the other one. They were even starting to build comb, as you can see right in there. So I knocked that out. There's still quite a few bees in there I gotta get out. A lot of bees buzzing around at the moment. I did open up the queen cage. The queen was alive, so we're just letting her crawl out real quick. And we'll close up this house here. The left hive's settling down a little bit. Right one's still buzzing around. I put the queen cages out front. They're hitting that little bit of sugar in there pretty hard, so I'm only gonna let them clean that up real fast. The ones on the ground, they can crawl up, figure it out. It's super windy, not a great day to do this. Yesterday would have been perfect, but you know how it goes with the post office. So anyways, super glad to have them both situated and in their hives. And that took exactly 20 minutes, so perfect timing. Back out on the farm now. The sun's out. We did have a little front move through, just a little sprinkle of rain, but now the temperature dropped 10 degrees. Wind's about the same, so we're in the 50s. I got the mobile chickens done. Still have the other chickens up by the barn. But looking at the bees, because of the wind and the temperature, they're not moving much. So the ones that didn't make it in the hive, they were still in that package. They're kind of all balled up, so I'm gonna kind of scrape them out and get them home. Here's one clinging on. So I'm gonna be doing this probably for the next 45 minutes, just trying to get all the bees home. If it was warmer out, they would do this on their own, but seeing as it's windy and cold, they're not really doing it. It's primarily the ones in the packages that are clumped up that I'm gonna get, but there's still quite a few on the ground hanging out. There's, I would guess, maybe several hundred bees still just hanging out on the grass, in the package, just somewhere. But with the breeze, they're just freezing up and they are not moving. So I tried opening up this hive. Didn't go great, and trying to dump the rest of this box in there. The bees are still hanging on really tight onto that package. And then in the hive, of course, they're all happy eating the sugar and they're warm in there. So a few of them with the wind went blowing around. So I'm just gonna leave the ones in the package. If they happen to crawl into the hive, great. If not, there's not a whole bunch I could do. But I did get a lot of bees up, so that feels good. I think I actually got stung, maybe, I don't know. But anyways, there's just a lot of bees. I don't know, I might try and grab some more. Back from a dinner break, I stopped in at a store, grabbed some more seeds. They were all pretty good deal, so I went ahead and jumped on those. Still a little bit more to do. We've dropped another 10 degrees, so we're sitting in the 40s, so it's a little chillier. I do want to actually organize some of my chickens a little more. Right now I've got a bunch of breeds kind of scattered in all the coops. I'd like to get back to the one breed per coop. The chick project is a go, and I don't want a ton of mutts running around. I prefer to have more of a purebred line like Orpington, Sussex, Pearl Whites. I don't mind a few mutts running around because you get some really cool eggs, nice genetics, but for the most part, I'd like to keep them, you know, pretty separated. All right, that was pretty simple. I have all my speckled Sussex hens organized and all in the far coop along the edge. I will swap out roosters. I'm not gonna do it quite yet. Howdy up. Today is March 28th. Sun is shining. It's going to be pretty nice out all day today, so a lot of stuff I want to get done on the farm. I've already knocked out chicken chores. I'm going to do some weeding in the flower beds first and then start on some more projects. So far I've done 2 partial flower beds. It's kind of hard to see once you start ripping them up what exactly you've already picked and not, so I'm going to let those weeds dry out, and then right now I'm going over to do some weeding on my horseradish because that is looking pretty terrible. Out doing a little bit of onion planting now. These I've kind of had inside, outside, back and forth. I actually almost killed them 2 days ago because I left them out, didn't realize it was going to rain. So they're pretty waterlogged. So before I do wind up killing them completely, I'm just going to put them in the ground. All the onions are planted now. It's pretty breezy out. My dad's doing a little tilling though. Temperature wise, I think we're in the 50s, maybe almost 60 at this point, I'm not sure. My mom's in the room doing a lot of transplanting on some tomatoes. Let's go out and see how the bees are doing. It's a little breezy for them to really want to fly around much today. This hive over here is pretty active. This is the one that was a little better looking as far as packages go. This one over here was a little bit smaller. So you can see we've still got some cleaning up to do, dead bees still. But overall they should be looking good in there. I'm not going to mess with them for a little while though. And back on weeding again. This bed is pretty much done. It's still kind of hard to tell the stuff that I just weeded out if I got everything or not, but that looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. My dad's tilling up another flower bed at the moment. I'll probably plant more tomorrow, but I would like to start weeding this patch. Howdy y'all, today is March 29th. It's about 65 degrees right now. Got some bees out buzzing around. I'm actually gonna go ahead and completely open up the hive and see what they look like in there. Well, I would say it is definitely time to take off this candy board here because the bees are starting to build comb in it. So that'd be a mess really quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and pry that off. Well, that was slightly chaotic, but that inner cover, I scraped everything off. I dug through that whole top box looking for the queen. Tons of bees, tons of capped over brood, massive hive. But on the inner cover, I don't know if you can see it, but there's little tiny dots inside these cells. Those are eggs. That was on the inner cover, so I was looking around. I didn't see the queen, but she was probably in that mess. I shook them off. I looked for her for a long while, didn't find her. So I just shook them all off. Back into the hive. I'll probably keep an eye out, look around to see if I see her. But I mean, all these are just full of eggs. And it looks like most of them are leaning over. So they weren't just laid. If they're standing straight up, that means they were just laid. Oh shoot. These do, and then the eggs just kind of stop. So yeah, I think that queen was on the inner cover, so hopefully she made it back into the hive. All right, I'm gonna look around and make sure, but there was a wasp that was messing with them and the bees were attacking them, and it was kind of crazy there for a minute. But this hive looks fantastic. I feel bad taking all this off because there were some not quite capped over brood. There were a few little babies in there. There's a bee still on there, but quite a lot of eggs. So that was my bad for not taking that inner cover off. So I'm gonna let that sit out for a while. They were starting to put some nectar in there. If they want to come grab that, they're more than welcome to. I am really glad I got in that hive today before it got any crazier in there with them just drawing comb out, because they had that nice empty space to do that. But that colony looks great. All the frames I pulled out just completely capped over brood, which is awesome. So this hive is going to be exploding very soon. It's already, the frames are covered with bees. There are also, I think, 2 blank frames, and they're already starting to draw them out, fill them in, tons of pollen coming in, and they are starting to put in some nectar. So all good things with this hive. I have a bad feeling about this hive, you guys. There's not one bee moving around. This colony, when I looked at them not too long ago, seemed quite a bit smaller than the other colonies, so I don't know if these guys made it, but let's check it out and see what's inside. Well, this hive had plenty of food. This was about how much they'd eaten when I'd cracked the top off last time and checked on them. So let's see if we can figure out what happened to them. They still had quite a bit of food, just as far as honey goes, not even the sugar they had. But you can see there's little pockets here and there, so we'll keep on digging. I combed through the honey super. So far everything in there looks fine. Looking in here now, on the first deep, you can just see the resources packed in there. And then there's a few remaining bees over here kind of huddled up, so it looks like they probably froze. But let's keep on digging to see if we can figure anything else out. So far this first deep is loaded with resources as well. Lots of honey on all the frames. They didn't even need the sugar. It's probably why they didn't touch it. At this point, I'm thinking something happened to the queen, and they weren't able to keep their population up enough to stay warm, because you can tell they were smashed in the corner, just kind of huddling up. I'm gonna go ahead and get down to that last box there. So down in this last box here, kind of seeing the same pattern, all the bees huddled up in one corner. Looks like their population was just dwindling down, because once again, I'm just seeing a ton of resources in here. I'm not seeing a presence of, actually no, I do see some mites. So these little dots here, yeah, those look like varroa mites right there. So I'm gonna keep looking through a little bit and see if we have a lot of those. So there's the bottom box and what the screen bottom board looks like. For whatever reason, the bees or something started chewing on some wax. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, I don't really know what happened to this hive. They had ample resources to get through the winter, no problem. I did see some mites. It wasn't an overwhelming number, but it was still, you know, a handful of mites. So either something happened to the queen, because there is not a lick of brood in here, maybe 5 cells. There's just not much activity going on there. So something could have happened to the queen. She wasn't laying anymore. Bees start dying off. Can't replace them. There's nothing more you can do. So then they freeze and die. So that's one guess. The other guess is maybe something to do with the varroa mites, if that was the issue. And it gave the bees some sort of sickness and slowly spread through the hive and killed them. So those are the 2 options. I would lean more towards something happening to the queen at this point. So that's a bummer that hive didn't make it. I know they made it through winter because I did see them buzzing around this spring, albeit there weren't that many bees buzzing around. So I think their numbers were already pretty reduced at that point. Have a lot of resources now, a lot of honey, a lot of good comb, stuff like that. I don't know if I'll put bees back over here or not. We'll see how it all works out, but I have plenty of resources for when I do a split on the other colony here, probably in a month or so. And then also for the 2 new colonies, they'll also have even more to get them jump started. So it's a bummer about this hive, but sometimes they just die. I don't think I ever definitively said it, but the Australorps, in fact, have started laying. This hive over here is just acting kind of funny. No one's really flying. They're just hanging out on the front porch. Not a lot of movement. I don't know. Anyways, I got some more wood today, so my dad's undoing the trailer right now. I'm gonna go ahead and at least get the rest of the hardware cloth on. Shouldn't take too terribly long. I already got everything set up here. And then start on the chicken wire after that. Whitetail is always hanging around, just checking out what I'm doing. I was so close to making it around with that hardware cloth. I think I do have a piece of scrap in there that I can tack on here. If not, it's so short that I'll probably just put a board in there if not. So I have been talking to some beekeepers. Some think it's poison, others think it's a feed issue. So I'm gonna try a liquid feed and see if that helps them out. It's a little easier for them to just slurp down versus having to actually work at it a little harder. So we'll give it a shot. So I sprinkled the hive with some sugar water. We'll see if that helps. I do have the feeder on. I'm gonna mix some more sugar water so it's a little more full. Looks like one's going to it. So let's hope this helps them out because they're not looking good. Got the bees all set up the best I could, got them some sugar water, sprinkled them with it even a little bit so they could get it quick if that's the issue. So hopefully the bees will be all right and we'll see what they look like tomorrow. I think some rain's moving in tonight. Hopefully we'll have some dry patches tomorrow where I can come out and get some more work done. Temps are gonna be great all weekend and next week really. On the coop over here, I got all the hardware cloth around the bottom, so that's a good feeling. I didn't get to half of what I wanted to get done today, but that's kind of typical. So anyways, I'll update you guys next week on how the bees are doing and just general farm stuff. So thanks for watching and I'll see you next week.